All right. So, we are at, we're at the start of the extended rest. We're going to go day by day on this because there are going to be a few things that just occur while you guys are in the town that I'll get to. But uh, I know for things that are going to be occurring throughout the rest that are not going to be interrupted unless you guys throw really wicked curveballs at me. Phelan, you will have time to create your familiar. That will be completed by the end of the 5 days. So after you guys are done, then you will have your sparrow. Uh, who else had things that they wanted to do that are for taking the whole downtime and not just little vignettes here and there? Because you guys do have pretty much the free run of the city. You just can't leave the city, and you
I
are on armed guard the whole time.
I kind of wanted to use my sort of my downtime ability has to do with getting information by reveling.
Hmm.
I wanted to do kind of a quiet revel.
Yeah, you
And
can do
that's how
that.
I'm getting
It's
the information about Pinch Whistle.
okay. So yeah, for your time, you're just taking the guards out, and I think
One
Abel
by
and
one.
Alina, yeah, Abel, Abel and Alina can probably give you like, hey, don't do this, don't do that, for just like these are the rules of what we're allowed and not allowed to do.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think Galahadron's probably taking it seriously enough that they wouldn't, purposely overstep any bounds or whatnot.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you want to spend your time just gallivanting around the city, just getting to know people, going to different establishments, having some little parties here and there, but not getting too wild. Yeah, I think you could definitely invoke the Prince of Revels feature. I believe that's yeah.
Abel will definitely assist with this, like actively come along.
Okay. There's no benefits for assisting with it.
Yeah.
It's just it's something they spend their extended rest on, and then they just get a advantage on the first charisma check. You see it there. So that'll be something that, like the Sparrow, you will have access to after the downtime is over. But yeah, that's just something that you'll be doing in the meantime. Awesome. Anyone else?
I would like to make the bracers.
Okay. Uh, go ahead. I believe you need to make a few blacksmithing checks for that.
I do. Do I have?
So bracers require 2 ingots. Crafting time 4 hours. You'll have way more than enough time. And you need to complete two DC 13 checks. If you want to double the crafting time, so instead of 4 hours, 8 hours, which again you have plenty of time, you can take tens on those. So it'd just be 10 plus your blacksmithing tools modifier. That would just auto succeed on them.
It doesn't have it in my pull down bar. But yeah, I'll take all those.
So in equipment, you have smith's tools that you
Yeah,
should
I
be
was
able.
just looking at the quick, like the little pull down bar
Oh,
at
it
the
should
top.
be. Oh, yeah, because it's not. I don't know why it doesn't include tools in inventory. That's something that you'll need to have on your character sheet. But you can drag things from your character sheet to your favorites bar for quick reference. I'm not sure if tools sort of qualify for that. Uh, it's definitely something you can do. I will also note you guys picked up some mithril bars off of Pinch Whistle. There's really no benefit to using mithril for bracers unless you wanted to enchant them later. All it does is removes the strength requirements or uh, stealth disadvantages for armor, which bracers don't even come with. So.
Do I have the mithril?
I
Let's
have it.
see.
I can give it to you if you want.
No, that's fine. I don't need it right now. But yeah, I'll just take that 10. I don't care. 8 hours is nothing.
I mean, if you're gonna be the one who's using it, then I'd rather just have you hold on to it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. So that'll take not even the full part of your extended rest if there are other things you wanted to do that are not full downtime activities.
We talked about it.
Okay, we can
But
get to
I'm
that.
waiting. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep.
I think that's it in terms of
Okay.
blacksmithing things I have.
All right, so remove the two iron ingots from your inventory, and then I will procure some bracers.
I'm gonna immediately hand those off to Abel.
I'll just throw them at Abel.
Awesome. Thank you.
Clunk.
Duck.
I haven't messed
Still
around
haven't
with the
figured out
new
what that gas
character
mask
sheet.
does yet, but it won't. I don't think
Probably
whatever I
won't
come
come
up
up.
with is, yeah. There might, but not yet. So I'll think of something eventually. It's probably going to be like you're immune to like breathing poison or something, but I need to think of the wording. So
I think there's
okay.
yeah.
Is inventory different now? So I'm looking at my character sheet and I see nothing.
The inventory is the second sort of tab on the right. So if you look on the right, there's a little like bookmark tabs. There's the details, inventory, features, spells. The inventory is the second one.
Okay, this doesn't do what I thought it would. Doesn't have the wording I thought it would.
What doesn't?
There's a spell called Air Bubble,
Mm.
which I thought might have the wording that you were
It
looking for, but it doesn't.
it's closer to the necklace of adaptation or amulet of adaptation, but minus the underwater breathing stuff is what
Right.
I'm thinking. Yeah, it's the things that you would think for a gas mask, but again, I just need to.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be very obvious when it works, if it works.
Yeah. You still having trouble there, Vagabond?
Yeah.
All right. So what are you having trouble with?
Just keep going. I will figure it out.
Okay.
Do not worry.
All right. Anybody else have a day one thing they're doing? Abel, you're just assisting Galahadron with stuff.
That's right.
You're just going out with them. Okay. Mero, was there anything day one you wanted to start doing? I think you expressed interest in trying to.
I want to try to get into the lecture.
Okay. Go ahead and make a deception check.
Oh, fuck.
Does anybody want to be helping them to give them advantage? I don't know how.
Do I get... Okay. Can
Mhm.
I get advantage if they already think that I'm just a dog?
If who
Because-
already thinks you're just a dog?
The people. If they just see a dog. They have preconceived notions about what a dog should be doing. Or could be doing. They won't think of me as a person just walking in. They'll think of me as just a dog walking in.
Well, because you're walking in with two armed guards as well. So you're not just like a stray. If you were just a stray in the back of class, they'd shoo you out. Go ahead. Go ahead and get advantage because you do have two guards, and you can probably pass yourself off as like an eccentric noble thing. I think that you can probably get away with it for the first couple days, but halfway through, the lecturer who is a priest of Felmar is going to come up and say, like, says I didn't want to raise a fuss about it the first few days, but why are you bringing this animal to my class on herbology? And why do they look like they're listening very intently? It is disturbing some of the other students. And they kind of like look at each other and look down at you.
Hold on. I'm thinking. Mira's gonna like stand up to her full height, and she's not necessarily intimidating, right? She's just making sure that this person knows how big she is.
Well, this is a dwarf, so you're probably coming up to like
Quite.
mid chest, like at least.
And she's gonna say, "Am I not allowed to learn?"
Oh, well, no, you are, but there is a fee
Isn't
for.
that for humans though?
Well,
How-
it's for anyone. We do not discriminate based on race. That's untowards here. This is the Church of Felmar accepts all who are willing to learn, but we do need to fund our various activities and contributions to the arts. Uh, so I would need, if you are taking this class, I would need a fee for however long you are taking it.
I'll Miro nods at the guards. Pay the man.
Guards kind of look at each other as like, do the guards have your money?
No, they have their own money.
The guards are not going to pay.
Do they not have like? Do they not have like? Are they not?
You have a
Mi-
pouch of
Mr.
money?
Mr. Marrow, we are not authorized to pay for you to learn herbology.
We are not
Hmm.
authorized nor inclined to pay for you to learn herbology.
Not out of their money. Out of aren't they like
The Countess is not going to pay for your studies. We are here to make sure that you are not interfered with, make sure you do not run off, but we are not going. We are more than happy to escort you here, but we are not going to pay for you. And the priest is like, "Oh well, how many? If you are planning to attend the rest of the week's lectures, usually it's 5 gold per day. You've already been here for 2 days, so I can bring it down to 15 gold for the remaining 3.
hold on, let me look.
But otherwise, I would have to ask you to leave."
Can I haggle?
That is what the deception roll was. That is the haggling.
Okay. The haggling is giving me a discount because I've already been here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The haggling is you got 2 days for free, now pay up.
Okay. 15 gold. Fuck it. I'm not gonna use it for anything else. I will slobber over the 15 gold.
Okay. Cool.
It is. How do I? Do I transfer?
No, you just reduce it. It's going into the ether. So just minus 15 from it and do the hard math in your head.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Okay.
So you are able to oh no, not 1 out of 10. You're able to start your training in herbalist tools or an herbalist kit. You are 1 out of 9 towards progress.
How many do I have to do this like each downtime?
Yes.
Each day.
Yes. To get in a whole new tool proficiency, yes. So
Okay.
okay. So that's what you're doing.
It
I
takes
believe
9 downtimes to get a new tool proficiency.
10 minus your intelligence.
So I'm like 8
Modifier.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Marrow has an intelligence modifier of 1, so they get 10 minus 1, 9.
And there's no way to speedrun that, huh?
There could be if you can find ways to like dedicated stuff later, but at the moment where we are, no.
Okay.
But you can use a herbalist kit without being proficient in it. You just roll checks with disadvantage, and you don't get to add to your proficiency. So. Okay, so I believe that is everybody for the long-term downtime stuff. On the first day, Abel, you are going to get a summons from the Bishop of Carrick that they wish to speak with you.
Oh boy. Well, I've always had the tradition.
Bye, have
go
fun.
Does anybody in the party want to come with me?
It doesn't specify anybody else, but you would know that like they are now officially recognized as your retinue, so it doesn't disinvite them, so you're free to bring them. That's sort of the
Honestly, we
protocol.
should all go.
Well, that's I'm asking. Who wants to
Ooh,
come?
pass.
Where are we going?
A meeting.
To go and meet with the local Bishop of Carrick.
No.
Just for also political context, since Draenus is the biggest city in sort of the western part, southwestern part, even though they are not the bishops of the Marquis territory, since the Marquis territory is like his castle and not really much of a city, the church has put its headquarters for like this third of the country in Draenus. So this is like one of the 3 bishops who serve underneath the archbishop. So it's not just the local bishop; it is the bishop of the southwest section of Bosmar.
Are you trying to convince us to go, or are you just
No, I'm
informing
just-
No,
us?
I'm giving Thur context that he would
Okay,
that he would
I was
know.
just making sure this was a Thur
So,
moment.
This isn't like just the bishops of his, of Pontem who are just the bishops who work with his uncle. This is like a serious head of the church.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Okay, yeah, I
And
thought.
Galahadrin will go.
Okay,
Everybody can take the time to go without interfering with your downtime stuff.
yeah,
I will not.
okay. So I was, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was asking. Is I was opening it up. Who wants to go can go with me.
Okay. So it's Abel, Galahadrin, Alina, Mero. Are you going?
No, Mero's gonna go find some bones.
Okay.
A whole
Yeah.
bunch of buried bones together.
All right. The guards sort of plod along after you. All right. So you guys make your way to the Cathedral of Carrick. It is again in the central sort of town triangle. Uh, it is more humble in comparison to the others because it's made out of wood, but the wood is still carved with very intricate sort of depictions of harvests and plants and animals and all the stuff in the domain of Carrick and hunting and farming and such. There is a rather large crowd in the central holding area or waiting area that seem to be shouting something as you arrive. They're not blocking any doorways, but they're definitely making themselves known, and various priests are sort of talking with them and trying to, keep them under control as they sort of shout some form of protest. Mostly orcs. All of them look like more farmants or peasantry.
I'll ask one of the, like, once we get inside, is there like a person standing nearby that I could like ask what the protest is about, like a guard or something?
Yes, you're approached by a deacon that sees the countess's guards on you, and it's like, are you Sir Whitewater?
That's correct. Yes, I'm here to see the bishop.
Good. Yes. Bishop has been expecting you. Right this way.
Of course. And as we're walking, I'll strike up a conversation like, so what was that kerfuffle outside the doors about? They seem to be
Well,
quite irate.
yes. Thankfully they have. It was much worse a few days ago. The crowd has seemed to diminish a bit, but I believe that is partially what the bishop wishes to speak with you about.
I see.
Yes. uh, Leads you through the church. The shouts get diminish as you get into the uh, interiors of it. You're led to some large chambers in the very back of the church where the bishop's quarters resides. They have a office, well appointed. Also, like more personal knickknacks and stuff on the side. Holy iconography. It's a rather modest appointment. Uh, the Bishop is, you would know that he is Gunther Zerkith. He is a male orc, around 49 years old. Uh, and he sort of sees you coming. He dismisses the previous people he was talking to, which looks like some other priests. They're going over some paperwork or whatnot. They file out of the room, bowing to him as they go. And he sort of waves you forward. There are some wooden chairs sort of spaced around for you guys to sit at. And he offers you, like, yes, Mr. Whitewater, please sit.
Yes. Thank you for having us, Your Grace. To what do we owe the honor?
Ah, leave us. And he sort of motions for the deacon who brought you in to leave as well, shuts the door behind you, sort of looks at you as like, it was quite the commotion the other day that sort of brought you under this probation. I have no interest in the particulars of it, so please clear your mind of whatever nonsense that was. I'm merely taking the opportunity to have you here at my disposal to ask you some unrelated questions.
Certainly, I'm ever at the church's disposal.
Yes, yes. I believe the most pressing one is, what the hell is your uncle playing at?
Hmm.
Or gives you just a glare.
Very political. Diplomatic.
My uncle
Are you
plays
saying that out loud?
No.
Okay.
You see, Galahadrin is self-aware enough to keep those as inside thoughts.
That's right. He thinks them
Is
really
is
loud,
he?
though. He thinks them very loudly.
Yeah.
Uh, I've been wondering that myself lately, though I'm afraid you'll probably have to be more specific.
The food shipments, my boy. You saw the crowd outside. I'm not sure what we were able to do to get it to be half its size, but there's the farmers in Colmar complaining that their food that they're growing is being shipped off to the war front instead of feeding their own families. I've got a famine on my hands. And I know from the reports from Bishop Alenthe that production has gone back up with the inclusion of the Rhythmus skeletons to supplement the workforce. But as you can see here, not much of it is actually getting to the people. And I'm led to believe that you are part of the member of the commissariat for your uncle, are you not? What is
That's
the
That's correct,
reason
yes.
behind this?
Well, so would I know of this? What would I know of this in character? Is this the first I'm hearing of this in character?
In character, this would be the first you've heard of it. Correct me if I am wrong. The commissariat job was mainly a cushy thing.
Right.
Your uncle has only sent you to within his original holdings. You haven't gone into occupied Colmar,
Right.
and if you have, just over the river.
Yes.
There are no food supply problems that you have ever been aware of. It's been very much a job that just go around and check off that everybody is doing things up until you got the creek. It's been a year of not really doing much.
Right.
Uh, as far as you're aware, everybody is fully supplied. Probably now that the bishop says this, for all the logistics and like war and stuff that's going on in the front, you're probably in hindsight maybe a bit too well. Like there have been no food shortages or supply issues. There's always been plenty to be had.
So yeah, so I'll kind of stroke my chin and think a little bit, and then I'll say to the bishop,
Ow.
well, there's hasn't been any famine in my uncle's territories that I'm aware of. Though now that I think about it, most of my time has been spent on the Bosmar side of the river. So if there's problems in Colmar, it's quite possible it could have escaped my notice.
And I assume that all of your men are well fed and taken care of.
Yes, in fact, very well, very well.
Sort of glares at you. Make a persuasion check to see if he believes you.
Where am I? There I am. Persuasion. Well, it's not a run. Not a one.
No, it's not a one. He's just like sort of narrows his eyes at you. It's like, I wasn't familiar with your parents. I heard that they and your sister were the honorable sort, but forgive me if my knowledge of Monty's character makes me less than receptive to that answer.
Hmm.
Certainly believe that your armies are well fed, but when I've got a crowd of angry peasants who surrendered peacefully with the understanding that their lives would be minimally disturbed, I find that all insufficient, as you can probably imagine.
Yes, I can quite imagine. Uh, well, I know that you've told me to put my most recent business out of my mind, but I can't help but think about the circumstances that led me to that unfortunate situation and how
Oh?
my uncle was involved as well. Have you heard the details, or?
I was there. I was briefed. I don't
Yes.
see what a arms sale has to do with food. Do you believe that your uncle is selling food on the side to pay for guns? It seemed like he was selling a holy relic instead.
No, but I think it would be indicative of his character.
Agreed. Flintbrew is not very happy with him, and that would be the bishop of
Hmm.
Carrick of the city,
Right.
or of Felmar of the city.
Yeah, he's the Bishop of Carrick. This
Yeah, he's
guy.
the bishop of Carrick. Yeah, and it's like, well, if you place any value in your family's continued peaceful running of their lands, when you get back to your uncle, I would tell him to feed the bloody people. Otherwise, he's going to have more than just import issues on his hands. I don't know what you deal with over there.
Hmm.
Sort of just sighs and sort of deflates himself a bit, rubs his temples.
Um, What is the exact nature of the shortage?
Izzo looks up and is like, as far as my reports are aware from the bishops who are sort of organizing the food supplies, the harvests have been good since the fields have been repaired, but there is, after the food is given to the nobility to distribute, it is not finding its way back to the local granaries.
Hmm.
My assumption is that it's being all given to the war front with no regard given to the people.
That does sound like a reasonable assumption.
I bet your uncle would be happy to have even more skeletons tending the fields. Don't need to feed them. Just let the former Colmarans starve, even though now we've taken responsibility for them.
Hmm. Out of character.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we're okay with necromancy in this setting.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to think about.
These are bold claims they're making against your house.
Yeah.
It would be a dereliction of duty, but then it would be the responsibility of like his superiors to do stuff about it. It's a complicated web.
Well, yeah. So this is kind of the inverse of the problem that we had the other time, where it was like this is the church being like, "Hey, you have a problem, nobility," but they can't actually fix it.
Yeah.
Where before we were having the problem of I'm the nobility telling the church they have a problem.
Yep.
Hmm. I will speak to my uncle about it the next time I see him, and ensure that everything is proceeding as it should be.
Good. Good. Try to see to it before winter if you can. If the riots right now, these are the summer riots. You don't want to see what a starving population does when the cold of winter sets in.
Hmm. Um, so I guess out of character again now.
Yeah.
So like thinking about the logistics of it, like the amount of food that would need to be disappearing to cause a famine feels like it would be quite significant, right?
Uh, depends. You're familiar with the Great Hunger in Ireland, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of might be that situation of as there's lots of places where it could go to. It could be going to the army, could be selling it for more money. You have no additional context.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking about like what is the population here? Like in order for um if somebody's skimming off the top enough that they're causing a famine,
Hmm.
that's like a huge amount of food. Like
Yeah.
that wouldn't like just feeding the army, I don't think would account for that.
Mm, go ahead. What check do you think you'd roll for that? Because you do have proficiency in it. Because this is again,
This is
even if it's just a nepotism job, it's still your job.
right. Um,
And Alina could probably give you the help action on it too.
yeah, probably
I would like
investigation,
to.
Sure.
just to think back, and I'll roll that with advantage.
Uh, so one thing that does come to mind, and nothing sort of solid or whatnot, uh, but it is curious to you how Bosmar has been able to push as hard and fast as it has with really because of the political situation, only a third of the country or only a half of the country really going in and supporting the war effort.
Hmm.
So there's you don't know for sure one way or the other, uh, but you wouldn't be shocked if it was just the supplies were being diverted uh, because they were not being taken from other places in Bosmar.
Okay, so it's
That would
basically
definitely be one way of like if all of it is going to feed the army, that would mean that none of the rest of Bosmar would be having to make any sacrifices at all.
okay. Yeah, that makes
That's
sense to
definitely
me.
one way that the math could work out.
Yeah. So it's basically they're making Colmar pay for their own invasion as a
Potentially, yeah.
kind of summation.
And shorter supply lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a hard DC. Like, this is, again, what you do. So.
Hmm. Would there be... My uncle would probably have records of this, right? At somewhere?
Oh, yeah, you couldn't do this without records and paperwork and shipment and stuff. Like, it's a, systemic
Uh-huh.
thing.
Okay, so I guess as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the the first, I guess, the existence of some sort of like black book I could potentially get that would show that this was happening. Theoretically, if there was such a black book, uh, who would I need to take it to in order for this problem to be resolved? That would be probably my uncle's boss, right?
That is the question, because your uncle's boss is the Marquis, who is the head general spearheading this war.
Hmm. So it might need to actually go up to like either the prince or princess.
Or somebody else in the church. Uh, the bishop here probably can't do anything because they're on an equal level with the Marquis, but like the archbishop or the prince and the princess, yeah.
Hmm.
The king,
Well,
ailing though he is.
I mean, we established that I do know the prince and princess at least as
Yes.
acquaintances.
Yes, as acquaintances. Yeah. And
Uh,
they offered Alina a job. You would
yeah.
know that.
Well, and the princess wants to stop the war, yeah?
The prince is in favor of the war, the princess is against the war.
Yeah. So,
Why?
You can be having that conversation after you leave the
yeah.
cathedral. He doesn't have anything else to tell you.
Okay,
He's
yeah,
just like,
we can
yeah,
talk
so,
about this.
yeah.
Like so the prince wants to kind of fulfill the ambition of reuniting the old empire, and so eventually bringing the whole continent under, I guess it would be his rule. And the princess is kind of opposed to that on the moral grounds of
That war kills people.
right.
You have now a
Well,
famine.
They're, they both want to unite the realm.
yeah, it's
The
the
prince
method.
believes conquest. The princess believes more of like a NATO sort of thing.
Oh.
More of like do it more peacefully through like
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a question of methods and not necessarily of like differing goals.
Yes, but both believe firmly, and this is kind of the zeitgeist of the moment, in a sort of manifest destiny of Bosmar becoming the new center of Aventicum. It's just a question of how to do that. The spears versus the shields.
Yeah. So I wonder. I guess I'll be thinking about this in my room by myself. I'll be thinking through the kind of political consequences if there is such a conspiracy, and if I were to bring it to light. Um, like obviously, the princess would be the one to bring it to, but then would that give her like some kind of moral authority to stop the war, like a political? I don't think this would potentially give her a political boost, right? This would be like with the zeitgeist of the time, could she spin it as being like we're supposed to be protecting and reuniting the continent, and look what we're doing to all these people?
You could. There's
Hmm.
there's ways you can do stuff. I'm not going to give you more on a 14.
Sure.
So
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think about what it would actually change. I guess there's the flip side of the coin of being like, hey, you need to tone it down because otherwise you're gonna have riots.
yeah, that's the more important. And there, as you go, you can see the crowd is very angry. But yeah.
Okay.
And you would also know that the reason they're majority orcs is that uh, the 51% majority of the population of Colmar are orcs. That's just where the orcs were when Aventicum was united, and while they've dispersed throughout the empire, it's still like the Cresian plains were the ancestral place of where orcs are. So there's a lot of them in Colmar, Hinsworth, and southern Bosmar.
Huh. Fascinating.
Yep.
Um. I wonder. Yeah. Well, we'll need to investigate that because the famine isn't good. So just so I can make sure that I have a grasp on the like train of responsibility here.
Mhm.
Because like my uncle is only in charge of like the northern lands, right? Like
Uh,
he's not in charge of like this city of Dranis.
he is not in charge of Dranis. He is in charge of a stretch of the Velix River, of sort of from Pontem, a little bit south, but mostly north,
Yeah.
and the Marquis, as sort of a temporary thing, as a reward for his support, for being a strong supporter of the war effort and such, has given him sort of temporary jurisdiction over a lot of the farmland on the other side of the river, from
Okay.
him.
So on the southwestern side of the river, on the other side from Pontem is where all of the breadbasket is.
Yeah,
So if any of the food is going to go to Dranis, it has to go through Pontem first, basically.
a lot of it, yeah. And there's bread baskets on both sides of the river. The Cresian Plains is kind of very much a bread basket.
Okay. Yeah, but one side is yeah, okay. I think I understand the situation now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, time to add another thing to the quest log.
Yep.
Solve the famine.
Solve the famine,
Shouldn't be too hard.
right?
All right. So that is the
I am a
first day.
commissar.
Yep.
Right, just let him eat.
Yep. Let them eat cake. On the second day, Alina,
Mm-hmm.
that is when you return to your room and you find a letter.
All right, I'm gonna, as soon as I open the letter, Phelan and I are, as we have so far every single time we've stayed in an inn, hit taps Phelan.
You're not in an inn. You're in the Countess's castle, or manor, and you each have your own separate rooms.
Dang.
But you can go over to Phelan's. It's next door.
I mean, you know where I'm at.
Yeah.
I do know where you're at.
He's got a
I'm
half-formed
I'm
bird.
summoning a bird, dude.
It does not look great. It's
Hey,
2 days in.
I
he
love
looks
him.
fine.
He looks fine. Leave him alone.
Tweet comes
Leave
out garbled and
asparagus
electronic.
alone. No, Gremlin, you cannot come into my room.
Yes.
Um,
I'm assuming that
Gremlin's
was
just
not to
yelling.
Phelan.
Yeah, sorry, Gremlin's outside.
Gremlin's here?
Gremlin's at my
Gremlin's here?
house, yeah.
What's Gremlin doing over there?
Because, Willie sees it and Lyndon are over watching Dimension 20.
Oh, say hi to them.
I will. And Gremlin is obsessed
Watching
with me.
D20. Yeah.
And
It's a good
so
season.
he's hanging out outside my door. She's gonna tap on Phelan's door.
Come in.
Nice bird.
He's a work
She
in
says,
progress.
I love him. You're doing great. You should look at this.
All right.
I'm gonna pass over the note.
Are you going to be showing it to everybody? So I should just show all, or
Yeah, just show all.
okay?
I'm sure one day it will load.
I was gonna say this is blank right now.
You're showing me a blank piece of parchment?
Yep.
There it is.
Well, just a moment. Oh, he failed step 1.
I also assumed on the first day was when you guys were inquiring about what happened with Pinch Whistle and stuff, like we did in chat. So
Well, this is a delightful letter. I'm assuming this is from the
The man
man who
stabbed
killed himself.
Then how did
Yes.
that's what I thought as well. I am not sure how, if you wrote this before.
I mean, real quick before I say a line, do I know your current theory that you're a knight reborn?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it is not unheard of to die and come back. You know this as well as anyone.
Fair enough.
It seems fine.
Make
I don't.
make a religion check on that.
Me?
Yeah.
I have pretty decent religion, if memory serves. I do. Ain't that fun? God. Oh my God. There we go.
So V, and this is something that you would have been taught, and anybody else who was raised in the religion of the Trinity would know. When somebody
For
dies,
most of us.
their soul ascends and joins the Trinity in heaven. And part of the inevitable's sort of domain is that if you die and your soul leaves, that's it. You need to accept it. It was a promise. You get life, now you get death, and now you get heaven. Bringing a soul back or preventing a soul from moving on is a very strong heresy. Souls are not supposed to come back.
Internally, I don't mind heresy that much.
Oh yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Can the gods hear heresy if you just think it?
It's more the
I don't
act.
think so. I can't hear thoughts, so no.
Okay.
Have you
Well,
sort of
this is
gathered
delightful.
everybody up into a round table, or is it just the two of you?
I imagine it.
At the
That's
moment,
up to
just
you.
the two of us.
Oh, sorry. I'm not in here.
The
I'm not
ghost of
sure I
Galadriel.
understand. I'm not sure I understand who he's referencing in each of these different spots. There are 2 elves, so we'll see what that ends up being.
So I have a couple of thoughts. It would be wise to tell your companions. I think that is aimed at specifically Abel and Galahadrin. Yesterday they went out and they were inquiring about the death of Pinchwhistle. I think the reason the Regency is being so lenient is because of who may or may not be Luca, may or may not be Father Luca who wrote this note. I think that is why we are receiving such.
Oh, I believe wholeheartedly that this is Father Luca.
I'm glad
De
I'm not
Luca.
the only one.
De Luca.
Yeah, I just put down Luca. The sword, we know you have it,
The sword is me.
and I believe that that is in good hands, so I'm not too worried about that.
I do not know. Do I know where Norist is or anything
Yeah, it's
about
the
it?
capital. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
never
capital
mind.
city of Bosmar. It's like it was the closest city to your home village. I'm not sure if you went there or if you just
I
stuck to
highly
the
doubt
woods.
it,
Yeah.
but I know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to go to Norist. I don't know which elf he's referring to, but
Yes, I also don't like that line can be dealt with. I don't know what that means, and I don't like it.
do we know if Galahadrin has been to Norist? Do we know his history?
We know that he is a prince from a realm that 4 people potentially
Yes,
have
but I feel
been
like he
to.
would have mentioned. He has mentioned his king many, many times. I feel like if he was from the capital, we would have heard that.
Queen.
Queen,
I think
excuse
so.
me. We would
But
have heard.
I mean,
Regardless, we should talk to everyone else.
that is true. I
My new
don't.
friend can wait. After you.
All right, let's go. to our friends. Do.
All right, you gather everybody up in somebody's room. The guards wait outside whenever you guys are in a room. They're not there to spy on you.
Pass the note around.
I'm certain that DeLuca
Wait, I think you're muted still. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm certain that DeLuca owes me Pinch Whistle's life. I'm not sure I would consider it a favor, but I have to think about it.
Good a direction as any. We know that he wished DeLuca ill.
No, DeLuca says he's doing us a favor by killing Pinch Whistle, I assume. Letting us go scot-free from all of it, but he caused it in the first place. I'm not sure I can consider it a favor.
You know, now looking back on it, I believe I read that sentence wrong. You are most likely correct.
I think he should be told that it's not wise to call what he did a favor.
Well, if you find a way to tell him that, I would be
think
more
we
than
will.
happy to join you on that quest.
I think we will. I don't think we've seen the last of DeLuca.
Especially not with
No.
that last statement. I look forward to observing your continued growth.
Was DeLuca always so... Galhadron waves his hands. Points at the letter.
Kind of. When I knew him, and it wasn't that long ago, but I was also a child. He was stern, and he wanted Adian and I to find our own answer. He's always been like that. I think for specifically with the phrasing of the Hound Mother's word can be trusted as long as you keep your bargain. Which I believe it's because Abel, if I remember correctly, you bluffed him real hard into making him believe that you understood what he was talking about with Hound Mother Genesis and the Knights Eternal and things like that.
Wait a second. You got this letter, he wrote it after. It's under your pillow. He's near.
He's certainly near. He was, at least
He was
this morning.
near. We could go find him. He's just delivered the letter. You don't have a courier deliver a letter like this. A stoat doesn't come in and tuck this letter under your pillow. No. Oh, he did this by his own hand. We must make right what he calls a favor. We must find him. Galhadron gets up. Galhadron's gonna go find the trail.
Okay.
Yep. Get him.
How would you like to do that?
Well, he just was here. I mean, can't have been... I don't know. I'm not very good at time, but not long. It's the same day. There's got to be people that saw him. There's got to be, the hallways kind of remember his presence. The plants would.
Okay, so let me
You
know
want me to use
what you're
a
doing.
magic spell? I'm looking for clues.
Yeah. Well,
I'm looking
are you
for
investigating? What are you investigating?
I am looking at the walls for handprints, doors. I'm looking at like ink stains. You use ink to write these, so presumably ink. I'm looking for like bits of clothing or hair. I look for DeLuca's hair was gray. So I'm looking now for short gray hairs on the ground. They flitter off of the heads and they shimmer in the candlelight. I'm following the trail. And if we get outside, I'm gonna follow footprints.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right, hold on. Investigation is right. Is that an intelligence? Ugh.
So you come over Alina's room, and you know look at the place where the note was put underneath the pillow. The pillow was disturbed because Alina moved it and such. But you look around the rest of the room. There is no sign of forced entry. There are no obvious footprints or handprints or anything like that. Like the windows in this place have been sort of locked in a way that they cannot open, just so that you guys can't use that to escape because you are on probation. The only way sort of in and out is through the door, where there are guards that, when you
Hadron
question
looks
them,
under the bed.
okay, look underneath the bed. There is a monster. You say hi to it, even though I'm kidding. There's nothing under the bed. If you ask the guards they stick with you. There is not a guard that is posted at the doors when you are not in the rooms. This was delivered sort of more into the afternoon, so you guys had been out and about for your day, and came back and saw it. There were no eyes in the room. There's no immediate evidence you can find of anybody breaking in or obviously, doing anything that you could trace back.
I'm gonna follow Galahadra into my room,
Okay.
and I am going to shut the door. And I'm gonna turn to Galahadra and be like, I understand. And I also wish to seek some justice
Yes.
for his action. However, we are under supervision. And I admit I was in a state of relative shock when we spoke to when we first gained our supervision, but I do not think it is a wise action to continue this line current. We know he will be watching me, as creepy as that is.
Very.
I think this is a lay in wait kind of moment. Prepare.
I normally don't have any wisdom other than what I know my heart needs, but in this, since you know DeLuca and you know this place, I'll trust in your wisdom. I won't continue this search. I'll
I
drop it.
promise you that I will do all that is in my power for you to face Luca again.
And I promise you that we will make it right when it happens.
And Alina stretches out her arm for those like forearm grasps.
Yes, he takes it.
Together.
Together.
And I take Galahad and I go back to everyone else.
Nice bird.
I don't
He's a
think
work in
you're in that
progress.
room, but okay.
No, he's there. He's there.
No, I mean,
He
I'll bring him
haunts us.
along. I gotta work on him.
He
Did you
sounds
say
like
he
he's
haunts us?
Yes.
He'll get there. Give him time.
He's hatching.
Abel, what are your thoughts on this?
the bird or the letter.
Oh, well.
I don't want to hear anybody's thoughts on the bird yet. Wait till he's done.
He's a work in progress.
Exactly.
I meant the letter.
Well, if it is truly from Father DeLuca, then it's quite disturbing, actually. Although I had taken his suicide as being evidence of his firm belief that we were who we thought he was. We were. That was a sentence. Um,
Carry on, stride forward, Zon Sheen through the sentence.
yes. Um, but if he somehow died but lived, I'm not sure what it means. It
Yeah.
If nothing else, it doesn't bode well for someone that high in the church to commit such a heresy.
well, we've been running into a lot of heresy recently. Too much, I think.
I believe you're walking with heresy. She gestures at herself before
Hadrian
Phelan
That's
gets
different.
weird.
looks around.
That's different.
You can't do a heresy if you don't know about the religion.
That's true. You also can't be a heretic if you've never been a member of the religion before.
That is also true. The Trinity does not give two shits about the behavior of people outside the church. So,
Perfect.
Well, I don't know about all that because I am a believer.
You are decidedly in the church.
I am decidedly in the
Very
church.
much.
However,
I mean, we don't know that you're a reincarnation, right? You could just be like an echo, a rhyme in time, in history.
oh,
Ours.
I hope so, or it might, and God's forbid, it might be something out of my control, something ripping my soul back. If it is a reincarnation situation.
Oh, you mean like there's a force pulling your soul back to the afterlife?
Or back to the material.
Oh, like, okay.
Yeah, I don't. I genuinely do not know if this is a like
Well,
control thing.
but
Does that make
like,
sense?
so you're saying you don't know if you're being pulled from the afterlife to here or from here to the afterlife.
Sure. I don't think I have a choice in the matter. Is really what I'm saying. I think if I am a reincarnation instead of an echo, um, or a prophecy, or I'm not sure I have a choice, and I don't know if that constitutes as heresy.
Phelan, you actually did some recent research, and I didn't have much to give you at the time, but now that I'm thinking of it, there, the epitaph of this is rolling on for your pretty good history, like wasted check. Back. The epitaph of Knights Eternal, as you sort of looked into stuff, most of what you found was just the book that the Bishop of Carrick, Father Bailey Brook, gave to the group. You just found another copy of it. But as you sort of read through it a bit more and looking at different sections whenever people would have less, Galahadrian and Alina were looking at the history. You were probably looking at it in more of like the religious context. They're called the Knights Eternal partially because they are blessed by the gods and they have a different promise with the gods than the rest of believers do. They are the tools of the gods sent to Aventicuum to protect it. They are not necessarily people that are being protected. So there's not been much discussion about it because nobody ever bothered to bring it up because these are seen as mythological figures. Is like, people don't necessarily believe that Lancelot and King Arthur were real, sort of thing. But the jury would it's definitely a gray area when it would come to reincarnation of souls because they don't have the same agreement that the regular parishioner would.
I'll relay that.
Alina like visibly slumps. in relief.
Good news, you're not a heresy, probably. Bad news, if that is true, then you have signed up for an endless cycle of reincarnation.
Not
And
necessarily. The Green Knight, uh, he resides in the Feywild. He can't die. You could just visit there for a bit.
We also don't know what the parameters of your oath would be, or your promise would be.
I don't want to take, especially after this note, my elven and Fey friends to Norest, but I think my answers. But I do not want, or at least more answers. They have a whole.
If we must to Norist, we must.
I would not ask you about.
Which of us is it? Which of us is mischievous? Phelan, are you mischievous?
I have another question. Galahadrin, have you ever referred to yourself as an elf?
Uh,
That's what
I
everybody's.
guess not. I guess, I wouldn't see it that way.
Everybody in Aventicuum treats you like an elf. I'm not sure if you consider yourself an elf.
I
You probably
think
just got used to it and didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, I think I can see the resemblance, but I am a fey creature. I'm more closely related to, sprites.
To be fair, if he knew what you were,
He would have said Faye.
he would not have called you an elf.
Hmm. So you're
Which
the
means that
mischievous one.
is me.
Have you been mischievous?
I mean,
Only all of
I
you
haven't
have.
been great.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We can't all be great.
We can't
Mischievous
all
is
be the shining beacons that you are, Galahad.
green beacon, yes. You can pick a color. You can be the purple beacon.
Deal.
I'll be the red beacon.
And I'll
Biggest
form the
Power
head.
Rangers. No, I genuinely think that, especially with this line about the Hound Mother, that DeLuca thinks we know a lot more than we do. We are in desperate need of more answers than what we have.
I don't want to look deeper than this perhaps requires, but if you are supposed to remember your oath, and the Knights Eternal have separate promises, is that what he's referring to? Would you even remember what oath you're supposed to remember?
About the bargain, I don't.
Because this letter is not addressed to us. It is addressed to you.
I don't know if I have made a bargain with the Hound Mother.
It might not be a bargain with the Hound Mother. No point does it say your bargain with her.
That is true. I need answers. I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lev. In the myth, because I'm desperately trying to keep what Rhea knows now, what Alina knows now versus what Rhea knows.
If I knew
Separate.
now
Yeah.
what I didn't know then.
In the myth, does it say that King Owen will find his knights? What does the myth say?
In the myth, King Owen found his knights to begin. The pitch that you gave me was that King Owen would come, would round up his knights, and they would defend/unite the kingdom.
Yes.
Your story is coming in post all of that. The current myth that you have been born into and exists now is almost 1,000 years after that, with the adage that King Owen united the realm and saved it. Then he left and put the emperor in charge. The emperor ruled for 500 years, and Owen went off somewhere else to do the bidding, further work of the gods. And the knights either remained or scattered, but when King Owen returns, it is understood the knights will return with him. They will come. He will bring them back, and they'll all come back as a uniting force. There is some difference in opinion of whether that means that the knights stuck around and still did things. Go ahead and roll a history check or a religion check. No, history. You or Abel can do that.
Is this one of those things where memories of no, I don't think memories of a past life will help me. Because I'm trying to recall our myths now, not.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, this isn't something that would necessarily.
I can give you an assist.
Nice.
Hey, and this you didn't need to crit on this, honestly.
Yeah, but you did, so
There-
extra points.
Yes, there is sort of differing religious opinions over what will happen with the knights. There are some who say that the knights went with King Owen. They're no longer here. They're doing off wherever King Owen is doing things. There's no real theories that you would put credence onto what exactly Owen is doing. There's a lot of interpretations, but on a natural 20, you wouldn't really see any of these as like some guy, 200 years into the Empire is speculating for some political agenda that this is what Owen's going to do and blah, blah, blah. There are others who believe that the knights stuck around on Aventicuum and sort of shepherded it through the era of the Empire and helped maintain it and keep it peaceful and sort of worked with the Emperor to do such, because there was only one Emperor through the 500 years of Empire. There are some who believe that the Emperor was a Knight Eternal. Emperor never confirmed or denied, just kept that completely mum.
That's the call, yeah.
There are some kingdoms that say that they're first kings after the fall of the Empire. Most of the kings were military figures, a few of them in order to give themselves more prestige in a way that Abel's family married into a high elf imperial family with his great uncle. There are some founding families who say that the other parent was a Knight Eternal. They never name them specifically because you can't really do that, but the founding family of Bosmar, the general who defended the army, it is said that she married a Knight Eternal and that the royal family are descended from her and one of the Knights Eternal. If you go back to the pictures for the Knights Eternal that were in the one document, you will see that the picture of Gavin doesn't fit the rest of the paintings because the original one was destroyed, and a new one was made after the fact of the others, and a lot of scholars speculate that it was actually more of a vanity portrait that the royal family made to make one of the Knights Eternal look like them.
Okay. So would it be fair in my current state to assume for Alina to assume that since she is back, the others have to be back, and that there is a potential because we're supposed to be a uniting force that either some of us or Owen himself are looking for us? Is that
I think you, Alina, don't even know that you are necessarily one of the knights,
that's fair?
or that you might be a new one. You might be a rebirth of the old one. You might have been like found as a child, like found on the side of the road and re-raised. Like you have no firm confirmation. You would probably at least believe that uh, anything that involves some of the knights would involve all of the knights. You have no reason to put yourself as separate from, if something's happening with one of them, why would, they're treated as a whole. Why would just one be doing something and the others weren't?
Well,
Maybe you're part of a new pact that's coming out and it's just like a new set of knights are being created for one reason or another. You have nothing to go off of.
okay, that's what I was aiming after. Okay.
Oh, so is it possible that the Knights Eternal is a title, And so the fact that we think Eilina is a Knight Eternal might just mean that she, of herself, is a Knight Eternal, not necessarily a reincarnation or even an echo or anything of one of the original ones.
Yeah, that's totally possible. That is what the bishop even said when you guys brought up when Alina brought up she might have memories of stuff. The bishop was like, well, you could be one of them. You could be a new series. We have no idea. Like you are displaying features that the wings especially were used as like a religious iconography to depict what the Knights Eternal looked like. He was of the opinion it was an artistic choice. You showed him actual wings, and he was like, "Oh shit!"
It might be real wings.
Yeah. So that was his big freak out. Was like, "Oh, this, it'd be like going back in time, and Jesus actually has a sun behind his head. Like, holy shit!" Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Could we ask your echo? What does your echo know?
Does your echo know?
We've never chatted.
That's an excellent point.
Boom, echo.
No.
Echo appears, the
Galahadrian
sort of
bows.
half helmet in front of its face, sort of looks around.
Weird. Hello?
Looks at you,
Uh,
just awaiting orders.
A pleasure
Um,
to make your acquaintance. Again.
Can I make, since I don't believe she speaks, can I make some sort of history check on her attire?
You don't need to. Its attire is yours. Aside from that sort of like face mask helmet thing.
Is there anything on my echo that
It looks like you, but covered in that sort of like darker, like, and covered in this sort of shimmering, oily sort of blackness. That go make a perception check.
I was like, can I carbon date
Yeah.
my own? A perception.
Everybody else can make a perception check too while we're here, because anybody could notice this. It's
Listen,
just what.
I'll always pop on a perception check.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, people?
Nope.
A
7 club.
secret.
Hey, jackpot!
Why are you rolling secrets?
Marrow, you can do a perception check as well.
Unhide your rolls, Phelan.
He's looking through sunglasses.
Oh, did I roll?
Hey.
Oh, I didn't realize I did roll at secret.
Yeah,
It was a 7.
it was 3 sevens in a row, which is why I said jackpot.
Oh, I was hoping
so-
it was a nat 20, but okay.
Yeah. So this is something oddly enough that Galahadrian would notice this, but Marrow has probably realized for a while, but hasn't pointed out. Marrow, as you look at the echo and you look at dirt, you're like, yeah, it's just like dirt. Yeah, it's got that oily sheen, just like dirt does. It's just you, but it's like Marrow is to dirt, you are to your echo.
You know,
Something
we
I
haven't chatted
noticed, or are
before.
you saying that this is what Marrow's saying?
That's something that you noticed.
Hmm.
You can choose whether or not you want to voice that. I try to phrase things in a way that you can just say, yeah, I say that afterwards.
Okay. She looks over like, why is everybody inspecting her so closely? She's like, yeah, that's her dirt.
Looks a dirt.
That's
You'll
her
forgive
dirt.
us if
Oh,
that doesn't
yes.
explain much. We
It
we
makes
we
sense.
don't
New
we know
question.
very little of dirt.
So, what is dirt exactly?
Dirt's dirt.
Good.
That's her dirt.
What is dirt's relation to you? Do you know?
He's my dirt.
Okay. So the echo is not.
like-
It's on its own sentient.
Mary just looks at you guys like you're stupid because this is so unfathomable that you don't
When
like.
you say this is your dirt,
I have dirt.
Yes,
You have
and
that dirt. That
and
is
I
your
So
have-
dirt.
that.
but I'm speaking specifically of your dirt.
Hmm.
He is a part of you, correct?
He's my pack, yeah. He's not me.
Interesting.
Does dirt talk?
Dirt is currently looking at Sparrow and just like scrunching up, getting ready to leap.
I mean,
See, now that ain't gonna. I mean,
dirt does apparently have it, their own
Dirt
like volition and will.
doesn't talk to you guys, but to me, in here.
Hmm.
And Miro is just like struggling to. It's like teaching. What is it?
It's teaching pups to hunt.
Like out of character, it's like I struggle with like teaching people things because I don't understand why they don't understand. So that's what she's struggling with. She's like she doesn't understand how you don't understand what
Yeah.
being dirt is. Because
if
it's
dirt
such a
speaks to
part of
you
her.
in your head, at the risk of sounding ridiculous, Alina, have you listened to your echo? Have you ever asked it anything?
I haven't. This is all relatively new.
Well, that feels rude.
Is it-
You know, that is true. That's fair.
Is the echo reacting to any of this? In this, like, is like dirt reacts to things and like acts in the background a lot. Does the echo do that?
Echo's kind of like sitting there, just sort of on idle mode, but their eyes and head are occasionally wandering to whoever's talking, just vigilant, just looking. They look like you've only ever seen them summoned during battle. They don't have their weapon out, but it looks like they're ready. It's just like, okay, I'm like a guard on duty.
I guess I'm gonna try to speak to her with my mind.
Okay.
That's the spirit.
Uh, yeah, she's gonna really focus on, because she knows that it comes, like that the echo like splits itself. Monkey D. Luffy in Thriller Bark
Yep.
style from her shadow.
Yep.
So she's gonna focus on what was the connection point between her and her shadow, and she's gonna think thought at it.
Okay.
She does not know how to do this. This is not her forte.
Well,
She
you
just
you
swings a
command
blade.
it with your mind to do things. Like
That is
it
true.
follows you and does things. It's just I don't think you've asked it a question. You've only given it demands. Or
In her
commands.
That
mind,
is certainly rude.
that is true. That is very rude. She's gonna ask with her brain. Can you speak?
So turns, looks at you, definitely heard it, and shakes their head.
Are you me in this time period?
Sort of look at you and cock their head a little bit and just kind of give a slight nod.
But are you a representation of who I used to be as well?
Sort of turn their head again. And give a slight nod again.
Interesting.
Let's see.
Are we who they say we are? Yeah, and she does use we. And she thinks thoughts of the Knights Eternal. At it. Oh, this is weird.
Kind of looks at you again, just cocks its head. Just kind of like another small nod. Like it's kind of you're asking questions and it doesn't really have any way to convey nuance or anything. All it can do is just look at you and kind of like tilt its head and nod a little bit.
I'm gonna
I guess I
get a
oh,
pen
go
and
ahead.
paper and be like, could this help?
Teach
I
it
mean,
that
it
the
can
pen is mightier
interact.
than the glaive.
I don't know if it can
Sorry.
interact with paper.
So looks at the paper, scrolls something on it, hands it back to you. You can't read it.
Okay.
Like,
Does
Can't
it?
read it
different
because it's
language,
gibberish or
or
because it's a different language.
Yeah, that
Wanna
was my
look at it?
question. Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll show it to the glass.
Okay. None of you guys can read it except for Marrow, and it says "I am you." And Parth is muted.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, I went to the bathroom. What I missed? Alina was talking to her.
Her shadow, they gave it a pen and paper. It scribbled something on the pen and paper. Everybody else tried to read it. Nobody could. They're just passing it around. You can see that it says in there in like sort of this writing, but you know what it says. You don't know how, you don't know why, but and it says "I am you."
Presumably targeted at Alina.
Presumably, it handed it back to Alina.
Presumably.
Yeah, it handed it to Alina. It didn't hand it to Marrow.
That is interesting that Marrow can read it, especially with that hound mother situation and the bargain. If we made a bargain, oh god, I don't know. This is too much.
Marrow just goes, "Oh, you're dirt too."
Crazy.
So insulting out of context.
It is. It's so funny. I love it. The last question before she dismisses the echo, unless anyone else has any questions. She turns back. Oh, go ahead.
Marrow's just gonna think really hard at the echo. Like how she gets not commands dirt, but like how intrinsic maneuvering dirt is to her. She's gonna think at the echo in that same willingness, like full eye contact.
It turns away mid stare. It's not really paying attention to you.
Okay.
I do open up. Would anyone like me to ask her
Can-
anything?
As you're doing that, it writes again and hands it to you, Alina, again.
I show it to Marrow.
It says, "I know what you know. I am you."
Cool.
Sorry, I'm trying to think of the wording of what I want Marrow to say. Ah, fuck it. She'll just translate it. Whatever. I'm not working on full power right now.
Who is?
Right here.
Actually, Marrow translate it, but she makes too much eye contact with Elena.
That's fine.
So she's like, "I know what you know."
All right. I'll dismiss the echo. That was.
Wait, but can she dance? What dances does she know?
Probably the same ones I do. So most of the ones that are in fashion.
Yes, that's something we can do during our confinement. We could go out dancing.
Yes.
What is our next step? Do you guys think?
Well, we've got 5 more days of confinement. Do you think that you can find more information about what's going on with you at Norrest?
Correct me if I'm wrong, love. There is a whole section of uh
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
library.
Yeah. You and Abel have both been there. You didn't pay it much attention, but you've been there. Yeah.
Well, Abel, that section in, I believe, the library.
The
Uh,
cathedral of Pelmar.
in the cathedral. It is
Mara wants to go to the library too.
hell yeah,
Hmm.
library.
Let's all take a fun trip to the library.
Are we eligible for cards since we're not citizens of this
What?
city?
Cards?
Can we get
Probably not.
I thought there were
get in
books
there?
there.
And it's not the library in this city. We'd have to go and travel to the capital.
I think we should first deal with your father or your uncle. Your father's fine.
Yes. Well,
Your father was a good man, is what I meant. Not fine, potentially physically. I don't remember.
he was fine. My sister was the big damn war hero. Yeah, I think dealing with my uncle is probably slightly higher priority because we don't want a famine.
But don't say slightly. It's much more important than this. I am not afraid to say that. I would rather protect the people than, frankly, fulfill a destiny that I do or do not have.
Hmm.
Or that is my destiny. Who knows?
Um, I'm trying to think. So, assuming that we go back to Pontem and we find whatever evidence we need to prove that my uncle is directing resources away from the people to the point where, and to the army to the point where it's causing a problem. We would then need to, if I wanted to take it to the princess,
We
I
eat
would.
him.
Or we could eat him. I don't think I'll
A
partake in
simple
that. But
proposal.
A modest proposal, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
The only people you can think of that would overrule your uncle are the Marquis, who you don't see as
right.
being willing to overrule this, or people at the top of the power structures.
Right. So that would involve going to Norrest,
Norrest.
though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, everything's pointing towards Norrest, eh?
Oh man, it's almost like the capital's an interesting place eventually.
what?
Yeah, but in
But
Baldur's
how
Gate, we didn't do that till like Act 3.
I mean,
And that was in the title.
yeah.
Right? Although I guess this could be considered Act 3.
Would this be
Oh
an
Of
my,
act?
this
oh my
They're
I
very,
don't
sweet
story?
think
summer
so.
child.
they're very short acts.
This feels like it's still Act 1. Like, maybe even still the tutorial.
We've done a lot of
We are
traveling to be in
still on the
still Act 1.
navigate ship.
Does Galahadron have any way of writing a letter home? He thinks about that.
Does your Echo respond?
My echo's gone.
Galahadron can write a letter home.
No, but sending a
You have
letter.
no idea how you would send it home. I guess Galahadron would probably assume, yeah, just put it back, put it with a sailor who's sailing, because you sailed in. There's probably
Yeah.
ships going back out. You probably would assume that.
All right, so Galahadron will write a letter to the Green Knight then.
Ask him for his name.
Oh, well, that's not very polite.
Tell him an old friend is asking.
Old friend. Well, I suppose. Galahadron tries to phrase it as politely as possible. A nickname, or a alias.
Like the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure he would have the answers. He knows a lot about the Knights Eternal. We just have to give it to a ship headed to the Feywild, and that's that.
Do we know of a ship headed to the Feywild?
Lots of ships. I just ask. I don't know. One of them's got to be going there.
On a D100 scale,
Hmm.
what are our chances of finding a ship?
If you can roll me 100 on a D100, you will find somebody who knows what the fuck the Feywield is.
Almost had it.
Well, I have to imagine that since we're farther away from the from Midsummer, that there might not be as many routes.
Oh, well, I didn't say you could all roll it.
Oh,
I got to 200. You're welcome.
No,
Let me roll this
you
seriously.
make your best, most polite attempts, and everybody.
Yeah.
There are people more than willing to take a letter, and they ask you where it's supposed to go, and you tell them the Summer Court in the Feywild, and they are just like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
oh, I look for the ferryman that took me here.
They are not in the harbor at this particular time.
I'll keep my eye out for them then.
Okay.
Look, if I can get out, you can go back. Roads are two ways.
And this is the city that you came in, so.
So
Yeah.
what did the ferryman look like?
Well, he was mortal, but he lived by the Feywild. Lived in the green parts, outside the court. Back where me and my Kieran would chat. Near the hunting grounds. On the river.
I meant physically. What does he?
He's mortal. I had a nose. Hair.
Could you tell me what his ship looked like?
Nose and hair's better than me.
It's a wooden ship with a long central binding, like a log type thing, and he had a stick.
You mean a mast?
No, he had a stick.
You mean an oar?
You mean like a driving pole?
No, like a driving pole. Yes.
Oh, a prindle.
Is that what it's called? He's
No,
knowledgeable.
no.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
In the castles of Tipton, that's what it's called.
Maybe a cloak, a black cloak.
Was he Karen from the river Styx?
Karen doesn't have a nose and hair.
I actually am not really
Karen might.
certain
Don't
about
judge
the
him.
nose or the hair facts now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe. I give it 50-50.
I love how this is actually tamer. I think that Tika just forgot. This is actually tamer than the real way that she got here. that Galahad got here.
I just left.
No, you went to the tree in the center of the realm.
Yes.
You climbed to the top. You walked
Yes.
onto the edge of one of the branches. You
Correct.
stepped onto the branch of another tree. You climbed down
yes.
that tree. That tree was in the middle of the ocean. There was a
Yeah.
boat in the middle of the ocean that then took you
Right.
from the tree to Dranis.
Yes, that's right. That's what happened. But what did the mortal look like?
Oh, that's it?
What did the mortal look like?
The mortal looked like the mortal. You cannot distinguish.
That's right. Yeah,
The first mortal you ever saw, everybody probably looks like that guy.
Yeah, he does. Well, we could go back to the tree. Oh, we'd have to sail all the way back up there, and I actually don't know which direction that is.
You also don't know how long it was because you didn't have a concept of time.
That's true. I don't. But
Y'all can take this however you want. I'm just reminding Tika.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But I mean, they made it here, right? I mean, close-ish. So they come through here, whoever they are. Who goes a ways from here to maybe ocean, trees? That fisherman. That could be him.
Lots of people do.
Tree in the ocean.
There
What
is
about your ocean
the
forest?
regional world map for everybody's reference. There are no giant trees in the ocean.
There's one.
Nope.
Yes.
Where? Oh, well, in your memory, maybe, but not on the map.
Hmm.
So, in this realm, we don't have any concept of like the
Oh, so it
cosmology
wasn't a
other than
push
like
boat. It was a boat with a mast. You're right.
No, you have no. And I will also say, I'm not a fan of that cosmology in general. So it's in most of my campaigns, don't make the assumption that there are of a classic D&D cosmology. But you in particular have no concept of fairies or the Fey realm or anything. You don't even have stories along those lines.
That is
Right.
a little strange because brownies always can kind of come through and make things hard, right? You don't leave out your milk for them. They'll mess up your whole shoe business.
what is a brownie?
Little guy with a hat.
You mean a gnome?
No, not a gnome. Gnomes are different. Gnomes are
A,
taller.
a halfling maybe.
No, very small. Galahadrian holds his hands out just so.
Like
Very small.
like a goblin?
Even smaller.
Even
Though goblins range, so smaller than the goblins we've seen. Little guys. I don't know why you don't have stories about them. They're everywhere.
So, in summary, the plan is to get through the rest of these days and then head to the capital.
And keep an eye out for that fisherman.
Well, we think we want to head to Pontem and try and figure out what's going on with the famine first.
Do we
Back
want to
upon
try to
Tem.
dissuade your uncle
I
before
mean,
we get the authorities involved?
That would be one of the things that I would do, yes.
your uncle's not going to be happy you didn't defend his honor at court. Is he really responsible for the famine? Do you know?
No, I don't. Well, that would be part
He
of the
might not be.
investigation.
They could be besmirching his honor
Mhm.
without evidence. I mean, it's circumstantial.
Yes, well, there is a famine in Dranis. We could confirm that while we're here. So I guess I will do that.
How do you steal a whole country's
There,
worth of food? It comes from the ground.
there is not a famine in Dranis. There is a famine in the occupied lands. In general, specifically in the territory that your uncle oversees. Dranis is just the place where the people have been coming to complain because they're the head of the church for the region.
Well, Galahadrin, there sometimes people in power come and take that food.
Then we
From
will
the
take it back.
We will try.
Which way are we going to do that? Galahadrian holds the map upside down.
Abel will come in and point on the map where we're going.
There.
Not too far away.
We're going back the way we came.
Yes, the same journey that we just had, just in reverse.
Hopefully with less
So, it's good you're
zombies.
holding it upside down.
Yeah.
It'll still look the same direction.
Yes. You're very smart.
Well, I do have an int of 19.
Wow, that's. I don't know what that means, but that sounds impressive.
There are no Kasani on this planet. Was there anything else you guys wanted to discuss on the second day?
Yes, if there's nothing else for us to speak about, can you all get out of my room? I have a bird to finish.
As you wish. Good day, bird. Does he have a name yet? Oh, wait,
Not
that's
yet.
rude. You don't have to tell me the name, bird. It's all right.
Oh.
Once I give
will-
him a head, it will be significantly better at talking.
Yeah, it's just screaming through a neck hole. I realized too, this bird looks like it was put through Blender.
Yeah, it's not good. Like he's a work in progress.
Not a Blender, just Blender, the software.
Yeah.
Very happy with that.
He'll be a very good bird when he's done. So wait, he has 1 health point. If he dies, I have to go through an entire extended long rest to bring him back.
Yep.
Motherfucker.
We will protect him.
Keep him up.
Yeah, so that would be the second day. If there's anything people want to do in 3 and 4, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to fast forward to day 5.
I guess whatever heroism I'm allowed to do under my confinement rules.
Well, you're still going around. You're partying. You're smoozing. You're doing your
Yeah.
Prince of Revelries thing.
Okay.
You'll still get the benefits of that after that. Uh, on the end of the last day of probation, where you guys are free to go in the morning, Abel, you receive another invitation. This one from the Countess.
Oh boy, this is in the
Uh,
evening.
They would like you to join them for dinner,
The Countess wants me to join for dinner. Okay.
for a casual, unofficial dinner.
Okay. I assume
Ah,
they
so
don't.
yeah, get after it, too.
They don't want me to take my retinue then.
They do not explicitly forbid it. That is your call.
Hmm. I think I'll go alone to this one. This seems
He's ashamed of us.
To a
absolutely
party.
not. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be like an unofficial, like one-on-one, basically.
From the tone that you read, yes, it's probably going to be a one-on-one.
Okay, then yes.
Okay. All right. So you arrive for dinner. It's late in the evening. It is not in the main dining hall. It's in a more private, like separate, sort of like family dining hall thing. She's there. She has some guards with her, and like the chef brings out food. It's a modest spread. It's good food, but it's not like she's not trying to impress you or anything.
Right.
Pours you some wine. You eat, have some light talk. Uh, at the end of dinner, when business is usually done or discussions had after the pleasantries and stuff, she will place a letter on a tray and have the sort of waiter bring it over to you and present it to you. It is a letter with a seal of House Whitewater that has been peeled open and read.
It's addressed to me though.
It is addressed to you, and you would know that you're on probation. Of course, they're going to go through your mail. Like it's part of the thing.
Okay. Um, I'll frown a little bit and then take the letter and read it.
It says, Abel, you incompetent oaf, bring me those guns immediately. Lord Monty Whitewater.
I think we should definitely eat them. Eat him.
He
Eat the
also
guns.
sent me a letter as well, explaining that I had no right to, after. I, of course, informed him of the situation on the first day that you were here, and that you would be under probation, and that we would be confiscating the crate of weapons as evidence in the smuggling incident. He sent me a letter vaguely threatening me if I did not release those as his property back into his care. Wanted to see what you thought of that.
That seems like it's above my pay grade.
Still, I'm interested in your opinion. I did respect your parents. It was very sad to when they passed. I had hoped that an unfortunate incident would befall your uncle instead, and one of them could take the family title, but alas, that is not what the Rithmus had in store for everyone. She just kind of like sighs and just looks at you and is just like, you're in some shit and there's nothing I'm gonna do about it. Just
Okay.
sort of look.
Yeah. Mm.
How have you been, Abel? I know we never talked much. I went to school with your parents, but we weren't necessarily close afterwards. But it's only been a few years since they passed, and how
Mhm.
are you holding up?
I mean, I've been just passing the time. This war has cost some people more than others.
Some people have benefited much more than others as well.
Yes. And now there's famine, I'm hearing.
Yes, yes, that is. The bishop has spoken with me about that as well, but I only control the city. I don't control any farmland. Uh, there are other nobles on the border who have been more acquiescent to it. Baron Blackbriar has apparently seen fit to distribute much of his earnings to helping the residents, the former Colmarans in his territories, get through the harder times as well. But your uncle has been a bit more obstinate, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. He's trying to win the favor of the Marquis by being the most ardent supporter possible in hopes that the land that he is temporarily claiming will be his permanently. Maybe warrant a county, if that. So,
He always was very ambitious.
yes, he was. Abel, I must ask, and just between the two of us, when there are no members of the church by to sort of color the question, how did you get the shield? And if not you, how did your uncle get that shield?
It was in the bag of holding, like I said.
Yes, no. I know, Abel, but do you know how your uncle got that? Because that was not his to claim. That was something that should have been either to Lord Blackbriar or to your sister, and somehow it ended up in your uncle's hands.
Just double checking out of character. I don't know how he got it. Yes, we've gone
No,
over that.
you have no
Okay.
idea.
Okay. Um, uh, I guess I'm just gonna look her in the eyes, and I'll say, I don't know how he got it, but I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Like you said, I was the last noble to be holding it after some funny business.
You are, but you never struck me as the knight sort. Uh, if you pardon my bluntness.
No.
And I worry that if you bring it back, then your uncle is going to demand. Sorry, that's me, not her. Is going to demand it back for further ill use. So what do you intend to do with it?
Well, as you pointed out, I am not the knightly sort, but I do have friends who could make use of it. I think
The Catalia girl. I looked into her. She has quite the resume. Burned
uh,
down a marquis and the noble house, or at least temporarily.
yes. Well, actually, it would be the Prince of Summer,
The
Galahadrin.
elf. He's
Yes,
not.
Eilina isn't necessarily really one for shields, and Galahadrin has shown is already walking the paladin's path.
Is he? Because my men have reported behavior that is not necessarily dishonorable, but he does not seem like a member of the faith.
Don't say it.
Don't say what.
Don't say he's not. I guess they don't care if.
They don't care for a lot of things, but for a holy relic,
Yeah,
In the hands of
the
a
church would
pagan.
probably have. Yeah, the church would
yeah.
probably
It
have
doesn't sound
words.
great to have a pagan holding the holy relic.
It would be under my supervision.
I'm not sure if you have the authority. You don't. You're of noble blood, but you don't hold the title.
Hmm.
I just want you to be careful and think through your next moves. I have done what I could to help you with, for some reason, a copious amount of help from the Regency. Don't ask me why. But
Hmm.
you do need to think your next steps through carefully about the shield, your uncle, many things.
There's something going on. Something even beyond all of these politics and the war. I don't know what it is yet, exactly. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And if I can help with ending the war, alleviating all these other ills, I'm going to do it along the way. And I think that that will best be accomplished with Galahadrin using the shield.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. I'm pacing. Walk back to my computer. Here we go.
Or looks, nods. Well, tell you, if it's beyond even politics, I want no part in it. And I wish you the best of luck in that. I'm not sure that the would be the best choice to give a relic such as that to somebody who has not received the blessing of the church, but you're a clever boy. You'll figure something out.
Well, that just means that we'll have to get him the blessing of the church.
Well, best of luck with that. Dessert. Dessert's brought in, and the small talk
Right.
resumes and
Yes.
finishes off the night.
Hmm. Uh, I feel like there's going to be a confrontation with my uncle here.
That's fine. I feel
Very
like we can
soon.
take him.
I assume she's not giving me back the guns.
You got the one that you took from the crate, but otherwise no. And she told you that she told
Yeah.
your uncle no as well.
Yeah.
Do you try to ask her?
I'm trying to think if I think it would make a difference or not. So I think I have been meaning to ask this out of characters. Does Abel know the like reasoning behind the restrictions on importing guns?
Oh yeah. Felmara doesn't want everybody to get artificial restriction of supply for market manipulation. Basically,
Okay, so it's
they're the only. They're the only people who can make them. They don't. They only allow a certain amount to be sold to make sure the price is high. Yeah,
Okay.
it's purely a Felmara thing.
So it's Felmara's laws that are being violated here, and not
Yes,
Bosmar's.
not Bosmar's. No, but Bosmar would like if it wants to have a good relationship with Felmara, needs to play along.
Right.
So.
So oh man, I'm not looking forward to this conversation with my uncle.
I'll also note, the letter is dated. It looks like it was delivered the second day of your probation, and she just didn't give it to you
me.
until now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your uncle sent like a specific, as soon as he got word, he immediately sent a reply back. With like pigeons that you have to. It takes a lot of work to send a message within one day between the two places. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I even want to try and convince her. Right, because
That's the question.
there's kind of two levels. Like I can think of an angle,
Mm-hmm.
but do I want to let it go?
Yeah.
I mean, the war is going to keep going either way. I don't think you're like you have some kind of tracker of like war score or something like that.
Oh no, I don't have You could, in the course of this adventure, if you guys want to stop the war, that's totally within the realm of possibility.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not mechanicking it out of like this isn't a Mass Effect
Yeah.
where if you make a certain amount of Paragon decisions, the war stops.
Right.
Like,
No. Hmm. Is Felmara gonna want their guns back?
you have not
I,
asked her what is happening
I'll
with
kind
the
of I'll try and casually bring up in conversation what's gonna happen with the guns, like how she's planning on disposing of them.
sort of looks at you a bit and she's I am going to have to defer to, since this is an international matter, what the prince feels is the best way uh, to handle them, whether we return them to the Felmar or keep them for ourselves. If we provide suitable compensation from certain pockets or whatnot, it's a bit up in the air.
Hmm. Well, perhaps I should head to Norrest then.
To talk with the prince, sure, if you want to speak with the prince about them. He didn't seem like this is an urgent matter to him, but if you feel, certainly go ahead.
Um, well, I'm just thinking in my head. I'm thinking, oh, an excuse for me to have my uncle send me to Norrest.
Yeah.
Um, okay, yeah. So I think I'll leave it at that then, because I now have an angle to work with my uncle. Of
Okay.
like, hey, I can go to the capital and talk to the prince. We went to school together. I know him from my school days. We can have a chat. I can smooth this over.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and that'll be my pitch.
Sounds good. All right. Is there anything else you guys wanted to do for the last day of the probation before you guys are free in the morning?
Actually, yeah. When Abel returns from this dinner, Alina's going to be like just sort of hanging out in his room, sort of pacing back and forth, waiting for him to return.
I'll just walk in casually and just be like, Eileen, you're up late. Something the matter?
Yes and no. I've been thinking about it. I've been racking my brain, and I don't necessarily want the full weight of this what is looking to be a confrontation with your uncle to rest solely. I do not want it to burden you.
He's my uncle. He's my burden to bear.
That is fair, but and she from her bag she pulls out the official offer from the royal house. Assuming they sent her a letter at some point. It wasn't rough.
Yep.
Um, and she lays it gently on the desk in the room, and sort of looks at him and goes, "I could accept this, and if I wrote to Her Highness and I told her, maybe not so in so many details, of our mission, maybe, and this is a huge maybe to bet against, but she would allow me to continue. She's a reasonable woman. We've both met. We went to school with her. Of course, never fully met her, but um, she obviously knew of me. Um, I'm sure she would be willing. But then I could have a little more power behind my own name. so it wasn't just you.
I couldn't ask you of that of you.
Of the two offers, this is the one I was considering.
Hmm.
We know the other one is because of Rowan, and I don't want to deal with that.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. I would advise against that one. Um, I can't help but feel like we're getting distracted. Like
Feels
the war and even the famine, as important as it is, there's something lurking out there in the shadows. Whatever that thing was that corrupted Father Brooke, it's still out there. It's still a threat. I don't know what it is that caused it to
oh,
appear now. I don't
yeah.
know what it is that gave you your powers and the caused the others to appear at the time that they did, but I can't help feeling like they're connected.
I agree. It feels like since that moment, since we all met up in Creek, since whatever that thing was made known to us, every time we turn around, there is something obfuscating it. Like, oh, look at this problem. Oh, look at this problem. It feels like, and forgive me, it feels like sort of that was our eye opener. But I agree. That thing, whatever is happening, is out there. And I don't. I want to help everyone, but I don't think we can just yet. I don't know what the correct move is. Do we stop this hunt of your uncle in favor of finding the thing in Creek, or the thing that manifested in Creek? Do we think those are connected? Do we think that it is just a lot? We are not at the academy anymore, and it feels like only we are seeing.
Well, to be fair, most people have did not see what it did to Father Brooke and those guards. And the the shrine. So, I mean, it makes sense to me at least that they would continue to play politics as usual.
Do you think the zombies are connected?
I mean, that seems like the kind of most like of the things that have happened, that seems to be the least connected to anything else so far. Um, like that seems like an normal outgrowth of it could be a normal outgrowth of politics.
That's fair. I'm trying to remember. It feels like it was a month ago. Um, but for the my notes. Um,
There is a timeline in the player notes section. The attack on the river was the 27th. It is currently the 35th.
I know that was more in game
Oh yeah.
or out of game joke. I'm also trying to remember the let's see. Well, that doesn't help me. Apparently I didn't take as many notes. Oh.
What are you trying to remember?
The after Father Brooke, we went back to Pontem, and then we talked to. So I'm trying to remember the note from that we found with the goblin.
Oh, the it's we still have that. The one that we found on the body of the Duchess.
Yes,
Oh yeah, so that does connect it then. I forgot about that.
that is where because I knew it was the same crest.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
that evil is still um
Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
because if the evil that we found in Creek then turned around and attacked us on the river in a mission that was for all intents and purposes like not connected, that is suspicious. Now are they attacking us because of what we did in Creek, or are they trying to stop us from finding out what we have found out at this point?
I mean, either, both, conceivably.
All of the above.
All of the above, yeah.
This is a terrible multiple choice quiz that we felt. We all woke up and realized we had a pop quiz. In our and we're just like, oh no.
No one's wearing pants.
I wonder. Hmm. I also can't feel like we're only getting like maybe a third of the story, right? Because there's what we've experienced. There's this conspiracy, but then there's also this connection to like what's Colmar doing in all of this, right? Like we know how Seabreeze is connected to it,
Sea
or
breeze.
at
I was
least
like Seacrest, like
yeah.
Ryan.
Oh
um,
yeah.
it's like is it a conspiracy by like Colmarans, or is it a conspiracy by Basmarans pretending to be Colmarans? We just don't know. Is it people working across the battle? Like, is there like a faction that's kind of like the opposite of the shields, where instead of trying to like
I
work,
mean, there is. It's called the Spears.
well,
It is the
yeah,
Spears. It is the
yes,
Prince.
but I mean like so like the Spears is openly wanting to be like, oh, yeah, we're gonna conquer everybody, and the shields are like, no, we want to do diplomacy. But like, then is there somebody like an organizing faction that's like doing like a cult that crosses across both sides?
I feel yeah, and like there's been a lot more. Didn't we hear there's been a lot more like Knoll activity as well? From
If somebody said it, I don't remember.
I
That
was
would be
asking
Rowan
what.
just talking to you and you visiting
Oh
the.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. And on top of that, I guess I'll mention that now.
Hmm.
um, when I was speaking, when I was on speaking terms, I guess with Rowan, he mentioned that the Knolls have also been more active
Hmm.
from
And
the
you
Nolan.
probably saw it. Like you would visit. I imagine you probably visited Falnor at least once, so you would have seen like the barricades and stuff, and seen some Knoll advances fought off. You probably weren't allowed to go and join the fight because you were just a student. Uh, but you definitely saw some pretty nasty skirmishes from some observation towers.
When it rains, it pours, huh?
That's my thing. Is like that everything seems to be so active right now. Like there's Colmar is incredible. To be fair, the war's been going on for like a while, but with all of the stuff with the Seabreeze crest and the Knolls being more active, and there potentially being this third division of secrecy and deception, it feels like something big is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not lie, I feel like I'm drowning. There's
I suppose if you think that you are the inheritor of the legacy of the Knights Eternal, and it would be your responsibility to fix all of this, that would be quite overwhelming.
but there's supposed to be, I believe, if I remember my numbers correctly, 12 of us. If I am either the aspect of, or the reincarnation of, or whatever the fuck I am.
The,
Um,
the Nightly Echo.
the Echo, and then there's this Hound Mother and Genesis and a Fey creature that we have never heard stories of before, but I believe him. I believe what he says.
He's quite endearing. And Abel's eyes just kind of glaze over a little bit as he kind of thinks about him. It's like, sorry, what were we talking about?
And she is. If you weren't, I'll, and she just like shakes her head and just goes like I believe him, endearing or not, pointed stare. Um,
I mean, have you've seen him? You have eyes.
he is not my
Um,
type.
yeah, I know.
Which does not bode well for my type. He is an incredibly good-looking person. Um, but I mean, I did date Rowan. We saw how that happened, how that
Hmm.
worked. But there are things that are moving. Like, what the fuck is Genesis? What does that mean?
I mean, it means Phelan, I guess. That's my assumption. I don't know exactly what that means. Perhaps we should ask him.
He's
He,
there's just so much
seems to keep things very close to his chest.
he does. Um, but I trust him, and maybe that is a mistake, but
He's been reliable so far,
he has.
and he seems to be coming into his powers. I mean, have you seen that bird? When he first started with it, it looked like some kind of horrible, mangled mess.
It
But now it actually
did,
looks, I could tell what it is without him telling me, which, like, progress.
right? Incredible.
And it sounds mostly like a bird.
It's vaguely
There's,
tweeting.
there's like a little reverb in there, like some kind of metallic
If you just
sound.
sort of not focus on it, then it's totally a bird.
Right.
That's incredible.
I don't know what chip tunes are, but I imagine that it sounds like that.
Gonna need somebody to clip the cry of a Pidgey for me from Red and Blue.
But it feels like everything is happening now. And we are left with more questions than answers. And I I am one of 12, where are the other ones? Where is my brother? Where is your sister? She might not be one of the 12, but that is still important.
Wait, are you assuming that like all the people in our party are members of the 12?
No. I feel like I would know. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do know that your sister is missing.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
so is my brother.
yeah, I was gonna say your brother's missing too. We met each other
For,
at the academy, and we were like, same backstory.
Woo! Same
for very
backstory.
different reasons, though.
There's so, but it's just odd to me that all of this is happening. And well, my brother missing happened a long time ago.
You're,
So
I,
that's
I really need to note, your brother is not missing. You just lost contact with him.
that means missing
All right.
in my heart.
Okay.
Object permanence.
Truly.
Sure. What brother? He's behind the couch.
Temporal displacement. Um, but it's weird. I hate to ask, and I know I've asked before, but it's in a group chat from a really long time ago. And by really long time ago, I mean several months ago, and I don't remember. Uh, did Abel ever tell Alina what happened to his sister?
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know very much more than the public accounting of it. Um,
That's odd too. That the big damn war hero would go missing
well,
right before all of this.
she was in a carriage that was attacked. So presumably it was an assassination attempt, but they found my parents' bodies, but not her body.
Yeah, it's my point. I don't know. This is just a lot, and I think Norris is our best ability, our best option, but I don't like it, especially with that note threatening Phelan. Uh,
Well, I mean, it just said that they can take care of him, not that they will. So presumably you would go there and you would have to like tell them you want him gone, right?
yeah.
It's not like they're just gonna come and snatch him from you. You have to go to an inquisitor and tell them that you want them out of your party.
Hit up Withers. Ask for a new
I
party
was
member.
thinking of Heinrichs from
Yeah, that's
uh,
right.
Rogue Trader.
Aha, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really don't know. I
I so I'm trying to think. So really, we need information about whatever Father DeLuca is in on.
You need a bunch of shit. What are your priorities? What are you doing in the morning?
Um,
Head
yeah.
north.
do we want to try? Are we speaking to your uncle first?
That's the big question. Because so if we go to if we go to Pontem first, I might be able to make some progress on figuring out the famine business. Or alternatively, I could just send him a letter saying it's in
You're
the.
supposed to take over the famine business.
Uh, Alternatively, I could just send my uncle a letter and say, look, the person that's in charge of this now is the prince, so I'm going to go and talk to them and just kind of jet off um, without asking permission, right? Because if I go there, I might be able to convince him to send me there, but he might just tell me to, like, go off and do something else. I don't know. Like, I'm not exactly totally free in my movements.
But if
Well,
you send a letter and then leave, he can't get back to you because he won't know where you're at.
there's
Yeah.
also the thing of the last order that you were given was return. So if you're worried about following his orders, which I'm not saying you need to be, but if you're worried about following his orders, he told you to get the guns and get back. So
Well, get the guns and then get back.
yeah.
I mean, there's no timeline on it.
Right.
And
You can
to
go back in
be
2 years if you want to.
fair, with all of the stuff coming to light, like I don't know how long your uncle will remain in his position of power.
That is also a good point. Um,
I do not like to speak ill, but however, there is a lot of evidence pointing to some incredibly nefarious actions. which could potentially lead back to him, which could also potentially rob him of his
Yeah.
leadership.
Well,
You don't want to be the loyal dog buried in the tomb.
yes.
Wow, what a nightmare that must
Wisely
be.
put. Yes.
What a nightmare that must be.
Yeah, I just realized it's like to be a like if you were a dog that had consciousness, like beyond just regular dog thing, and you were buried alive with your owner
Well, you were just killed.
or
And
killed,
your
yeah.
owner,
I
yeah.
mean, that's the thing that would happen
Yeah.
is people.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should go to Norris.
Okay.
The Duchess is dead? What did I tap back into?
What?
Found on the body of the Duchess. She's dead?
No, the Goblin Duchess.
Oh, okay, God. I thought it was the lady that would like put us here. I'm like,
Oh,
damn,
no.
what did you guys do
No.
while I was in the bathroom?
A lot of murder.
We just decided,
We
you know
popped
what?
off.
Let's.
Galahadrin used their sharp sword.
Oh yeah, I had to take that one out. Yeah.
um.
But the famine
Yeah.
is also incredibly important.
Yeah. Well, unless we have evidence, I don't know that we can make any changes. Right? Because presumably, like, unless you have connections that could give you more authority to investigate, that you would need to go to Norest to get.
Well, I mean, most of my connections are based on the Knoll border. I don't know how helpful that will be.
Yeah.
We're right across the river from occupied Colmar. We could hop right on over and take witness statements.
I mean, I don't think that the word of a peasant is going to carry more weight than the weight of a bishop, do you?
Well, probably not, but I don't think it should matter. But that is my own
I
beef.
mean, we could just simply take word from the bishop if we were going to do that. We would need something either more concrete or, I mean, we need something concrete, basically, right? Because right now it's just the bishop's suppositions. And for that, I would need to go back, like, if I was going to do that, I'd need to go back to Pontem. Because presumably, correct me if I'm wrong, Lev, I would have access to, like, the family's records as part of the
You're a
commissariat.
commissar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your job. It's not necessarily like the region that you're supposed to manage, which is why you hadn't heard about it, but it's your job. You know where the files would be. You've never bothered looking at them.
Right.
Yeah.
But for that, I would need to go back to Pontem, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if we want concrete evidence, we're going to need to go to Pontem. If we...
Are we going back to Pontem?
Well, my question is there a way to check the files without alerting your uncle that you're there?
I mean, we could certainly try and sneak in. I assume they're in castle, like, in our castle.
That'd be in his study. Yeah.
Oh God, in his study?
I mean, I don't know about this, but somebody's broken in there before. But I don't think that we could do that unannounced.
How good are you at faking dead?
Who would do something like that?
I don't know. Some kind of scoundrel.
Some guy who
Could
thinks he's
I...
above the law, for sure.
I assume that as a member of the commissariat and a rich kid, I have, like, subordinates, right?
There are people who are below you in rank. Really, the commissariat just kind of worked as like your officers, but you're not leading a military unit. You're just going off and telling the supply people of the army to do stuff.
Okay.
So you've got people that are supposed to listen to you, but you're kind of off to the side of the chain of command. You're still in there, but you're not.
I'm just trying to think if I could, if there's somebody back home that I could entrust with this task instead of me. If those records are something like that I could, I know somebody else who's subordinate to me who also has the clearance to see them.
Go ahead and make just an int check or something.
Okay.
I don't think this is a skill. I don't know what skill this would fall under.
We'll do Arcana because I'm not proficient in it.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, no one comes to mind. You've never had to do this before. You usually just go in and do it yourself.
Oh God, I have to actually do my job.
You did your job. It was just a cushy job.
Yeah. I have to do more than the bare minimum. Yeah, I don't think it's something I could do remotely.
Shame.
Do you think that is more important? Honestly,
if his irresponsibility causes riots and unrest, that sounds like a him problem.
I understand that. However, I cannot, in good conscience, rest, or you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
while people are suffering. They are suffering. And I'm sure Galahadrin would be like, justice. We must seek justice.
Mm-hmm.
And something about a favor. Don't know what that's about. But
yeah. Who here is
Are you still deciding where to go, or are you just deciding what to do when you get there?
Well, I think
Because I'm trying to look at the time, and there's a place where I would like to end.
I think we want to go to Norrest. We're just trying to figure out if there's a way for us to get evidence from Pontem on the way. It's like we want to end up at Norrest, that's for sure.
Okay, but your next immediate destination.
Yeah.
Because you can either go to Norrest. The quickest way to Norrest would be to get a ship, go south into the sea, and then go up the river, which doesn't go through Pontem at all. The slower way is to go up through Pontem and then cut across the Crisian plains. So you can get to Norrest either by going by Pontem, or if you were to go directly up the other river through Trintham.
Yeah, the question is,
What's in Norris that we're trying to get to?
So many answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to find answers to what's going on. And
but your
think
uncle
the library
is
will help.
at the root of it.
Well, he's involved with other things tangentially. I don't think he's involved in whatever the grand conspiracy is, at least not yet.
Or maybe he's the grand conspirator.
It could be. Maybe he's the final boss. It's Agatha Christie rules, as Tika would say.
Was Agatha all along?
I think Norris is the best option. As much as I hate to say, let's leave the peasants to starve, if we can go get the guns back and come back with a pretense of civility, then your uncle will be more willing to...
It would certainly improve his mood, that's for sure.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that then.
We're going to Norris.
We're going to. So the two of us are voting for Norris. Let's just make sure that's okay with everybody else. I assume you don't have a preference.
If you think that's the best way to parley with your uncle, I can tell that it's difficult. Do you still want to serve your uncle, yes?
I'm growing less sure by the day.
If you want to serve him, then you have to get the guns, I think.
Well, in order to do that, we have to go to Norrest.
I'm sure your prince is there.
That's right.
We can simply talk things out with your prince.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Phelan and Marrow, I assume are okay with this plan.
Mm, yeah, Maro's just kind of chill.
All right.
I would love to know what and how will deal with me.
Okay. So I guess in the morning we're chartering we're getting on a ship to head around to Norrest.
Okay. You're able to use the last of the incidental funds that your uncle gave you. Charter a ship that'll take you to Trentham, and then you'll need to chart another ship to go upriver. But you're able to do that. Sets
I,
off fairly early.
I will send a letter to my uncle basically explaining that I'm going to Norrest to appeal to the prince to release the guns.
Okay. Are you sending it through one of like the rapid like messenger pigeons, or are you sending it through just regular courier?
Regular courier. I want to
Okay.
give myself a head start.
You
Okay.
get a buffer.
Come
Let's
back
see,
here with my
subject.
guns immediately. Lol, capital.
Phelan, can I get a perception check?
Yeah. Yeah, you can, buddy. Oh,
All
fuck
right.
yeah.
Noted. All right. So you guys get on the ship and you sail south into the inner cerulean.
I look for a tree.
You
A
can
giant
go ahead and
tree
make a.
in the middle of the water.
Yeah, there are no trees in the middle of the water. There are trees on the shore, but there are no giant trees, as Caladrin described it.
Hmm.
So yep, you sail off into the sea, southwards, and then eventually eastwards towards Trentham. And I believe that is where we are going to call it, and you guys are all going to level up.
Dun, dun, dun.
Woo.
Does that
Remind
automatically
me
happen
how
for
we
us?
do that.
So you need to go to your character sheet. You need to go to the features tab, which is like the 3 bars on the right. And then your class is at the top. And oh boy, how do we do this now? Because they have changed things. It used to be a nice little drop down thing. That is no longer the case. That's inspiration, special traits, sheet, configure, GM notes. Wow, they fucked that. uh, oh, okay. So on your character sheet, in the top left, there's a little wrench toggle that says edit. If you hit that, then you can go to your class, hit the drop down, and select 5.
Well, that was easy. We got a free side point, baby.
We're just taking average on hit points, correct?
Yep, just take the average.
Yeah, Lev always does average.
Yeah.
I think that's all I get. Yep, that's all I get.
It's 5. People either get extra attack or something like weird. It's
Something
usually
extra,
a
attack
small
adjacent.
but impactful thing.
I got another. Did I get another psionic talent?
At 5?
Yeah, it says psionic talents on the right, and it goes up to 3.
Oh, you might.
It says features,
Ooh.
but then it didn't give me an option.
Oh, that one might be broken.
I do.
Because
I get another
Beast Heart.
talent.
I need to check and see if Beast Heart broke with the latest update. You should just what you should have just gotten was extra attack. Or wait, no, Beastars don't get extra attack. Shit, I need to look that up.
Okay.
I'll do yours myself since something might have they
Just letting you
updated.
know that it didn't
Yeah,
work
no,
right.
definitely, yeah. At level 5, you get improved signature attack and beyond instinct.
It said, but it showed beyond instinct, and then it one ferocity, but I don't I don't know what that means. There's
I
nothing.
I need to look into it.
Okay, because there's like nothing in my stuff that shows me.
Yeah, it's because this one's a custom one from a
Yeah.
different maker, and I know that the Scion one has been updated. I'm not sure.
I guess do I have to edit Dirt to be level 5 as well, or is he still
Uh,
level 3?
no, he should also be updated to level 5.
Okay. Huh.
I need to do that one. Oh, Monster
Hmm.
Companion should still be. I'll those two
Mm.
are a special one. I will go through those myself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do this because it's not letting me.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's still level 3.
Yep. I'll do it.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll do that.
Hey, Lev, I had a question for you.
Yep.
Scion wise, obviously.
Hmm.
So there are a whole bunch of different psionic talents.
Yep.
One of which lets you is like Scion Adept. Is that the one I'm looking for? Yeah. You gain one psionic discipline and one psi point. If I take that, do I get a third discipline? Or is that
Believe.
something I can't take?
Let's see. Where is this in the
If you're in my book, it's on page 25.
23, 24, 25? Those are feats.
Yes, they are
But
Scion feats.
yeah, and which one is this again?
Psionic Adept.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's what I'm going to take, but I wanted to make sure I read that right.
Did you not already take your feat?
No,
You didn't take your feat at level 4?
I get a no. Okay, so that's another question. I get at level 5, I get a psionic feat. I'm assuming that's different than the regular feats.
At level 5, you
Oh,
gain
psionic
psionic
talent. I've got the
mastery.
difference here,
Yeah, at level 5 you get psionic mastery.
and a psionic talent, not a psionic feat. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But when I do have feats, that will allow I can take
Yes.
that and get a third discipline.
Yes.
Cool. That's what I needed.
I think. Can I?
No.
Okay. Well, for the Echo, her AC is my proficiency, so she needs
Okay.
to.
It needs to go up to 17.
Cause it's no, it's 14 plus my proficiency, which is a +3, right?
Yep, so 17. Okay.
Ah.
There we go. The MCDM folder in my
What
Foundry
did you
seems to
even
be
roll?
empty. That would do it.
Have you logged into Helldivers yet, Alex?
Logged in? No.
Oh, no, not yet.
'Cause we gotta get our extra medals. Because we successfully took a planet or whatever.
Nice.
They're not going anywhere. I assume.
I'll double
Right.
check.
I
I'll
think I'm
pull
gonna
it
stop
open.
the recording now.